Dany Garcia and The Rock announced before the Brahmas game that the XFL championship will be held here in San Antonio in Big Board Sports.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
The San Antonio Brahmas held their season and home opener today at the Alamodome, hosting the St. Louis Battlehawks. This game was tied at 3-3 at halftime. Fourth quarter now, Brahmas leading 6-3 when we get our first touchdown of the game. Jack Cohn throws to Fred Brown, 4 yards, and the Brahmas lead 12-3. The one-point conversion rush was no good. Now they'd go up 15-3 before the Battlehawks come back. Former NFL QB A.J. McCarron finds Hakeem Butler for an 18-yard touchdown and 6 points. So the Battlehawks go for a 3-point play from the 10. McCarron to Austin Prohl threads the needle. It's good. And St. Louis is down 15-12. Next play, they would convert a 4th and 15 from the Brahmas 25, which allowed them to keep the ball. So St. Louis marches down the field. They would take the lead here. McCarron to Prohl, 14 yards for the final points of the game. St. Louis comes back to stun the Brahmas 18-15.
Disappointing loss, you know. I know our players was in the locker room, but you know, it's just one game. You know, I've lost a Super Bowl before. That hurts. So this is one game, start of the season. You know, hats off to St. Louis, fighting all throughout the game, and then like the last 3 minutes, man, they made plays. They made more plays than we did.
It was pretty crazy. I mean, I'd say, you know, you get to that point in the game, in a normal NFL game, college game, you think the game's pretty much over, but with the new rules, the game's a lot more exciting, and I think that's the way it should be. So, yeah, we just got to get used to these new rules and finish the game out strong.
San Antonio did a heck of a job. You know, I played here in 19. We opened up in San Antonio for the AAF, and it was loud as hell, too. It was an excellent environment. I thought it's been a great weekend for the XFL. It's been really good, close, competitive games for the most part. And, you know, why not, you know, throw one on Sunday for us and have a game like this? I mean, you got everything.
XFL co-owners Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Dany Garcia, and Jerry Cardinal were at the Alamodome for the game. The Rock tweeted he would visit all 4 XFL games this weekend, and that's what he's doing. He went to Arlington and Houston yesterday, then San Antonio for the Brahmas 2 p.m. kick today, and then Washington, D.C. for the night game. Before kickoff, The Rock walked onto the field to a loud ovation. Plenty of people were there to see him, and they did not leave disappointed in that regard. Then just before kickoff, he pumped up the Alamodome crowd and both teams, and then Dany and Dwayne announced that the XFL championship game will be held at the Alamodome on Saturday, May 13th on KSAT 12. During a second quarter interview, we asked them why San Antonio.
We could just see the momentum building as these ticket sales were going and going, and this was phenomenal. We couldn't be more excited. This was a huge decision for us to bring a team to San Antonio. Jerry was so passionate about it. We did a tremendous amount of research and just wanted to connect to the city, and the city has come out in a massive way.
I mean, there was, you know, early on when we were looking at all these cities and what makes sense, what markets make sense, and San Antonio was always very high on the list. And I luckily, fortunately, Dany and I started my career here in San Antonio back when I was wrestling, and it helped shape me as a rookie. Just 2 months as a professional wrestler, I came right here to the Alamodome, and this is a tough place to come into. And so I have really fond memories. And what Dany and I talked about earlier when we shared this with Jerry was, I think if we create the right story and the right team, I think this city is really going to be hungry and passionate for it. And as Dany was saying, we just start to see the ticket sales come up, and to see almost, I think, 20,000 people here tonight, it's very special.
Dany and The Rock were both fantastic. With more on this game, let's go live to the Alamodome for David and RJ. And guys, what was the atmosphere like for you two?
Woo. Man, I tell you, you mentioned Dany and The Rock were fantastic. The crowd was fantastic. I mean, these people, as The Rock mentioned, they came out and they supported this team. They had the wave going in the second half. I mean, it was loud, and even one of the players from the St. Louis team remembered coming in here. I think it was the coach, actually, remember coming in here at one point during his NFL career. And he said, this place gets loud, and it was loud in the lower bowl.
And by the way, you cannot have a game here at the Alamodome without doing the wave, and the crowd took care of that. But it was electric. The atmosphere was great. We had the case that the bullpen was out here. They were having a good time. A lot of people were dressed up in their Brahmas gear, which I was surprised, David, to see so many Brahma caps, so many T-shirts out there, as people were definitely pumped up for this one up until the last 2 minutes, of course, of that game. Some bizarre rules that people need to figure out, but still, the atmosphere here was great.
I know Larry will explain all that one day, how it all shaped up. But as far as the crowd goes, as far as the atmosphere, it was fantastic. It was absolutely, you know, even Hines Ward, the coach of the San Antonio team
the
was
Brahmas.
talking about how the team was pulling up in their buses, getting here to the Alamodome, and they could see the folks tailgating. And he reminded us that a lot of these guys hadn't played football in a couple, 3 years. So just to see the tailgaters and then come in here and come through that tunnel down there, and just to see this crowd, these guys that excited, the players even. So.
Yeah, great start here. Now the Brahmas are not back here until another month or so. Hopefully we expect to see another great crowd like tonight's K-Side Insider Party was rocking as well with The Rock and Dany Garcia. Larry?
Go Brahmas, go!
Thank you, guys. So the Brahmas will play at the Orlando Guardians next Sunday at 3 p.m. and hopefully they get a win there.